It's not hardly dinner time yet, but I'm already thinking about supper, and I'm really excited for what we're going to have tonight. I'm excited because we're going to enjoy our first mess of squash from the garden, and I'm even going to grabble out some potatoes, and we're going to have our first new potatoes. It's going to be such good eating, I know. So I've already started thinking about what else we could have to go with it. I'm going to make, let's see, some of our lovely butter beans that we grew last year. We didn't even plant any this year. But I'm going to make some butter beans, I think. Matt requested some beans and cornbread. He didn't care what kind of beans. So we're going to have beans, butter beans, and cornbread. Of course, have fried squash, have those wonderful potatoes, have some green onions from the garden. And I've got some kale out there that I need to harvest some of it. I might even get some of it and just saute it real simple with some onions or something. Or no onions at all, just saute it. And then maybe I can come up with some kind of meat that I can have. So it's going to be a delicious supper though, because of that fresh squash, our first mess from the garden, and those new potatoes. I'm going to see if I can get some of the squash. And when I was out here looking, there's one, don't squash and cucumbers and things, they hide from you, know. There's one that has fallen off the side that I didn't see that I could have eaten probably last week. I'm going to go ahead and get it too though, but I'm going to get some of these little ones. It's a little bitty one, but I'm still going to get it. There's the big one that I didn't see because it was hanging off the side. And here's one. Sometimes that happens. That one's like twinning. It's two stuck together. This other one has zucchini in it. I'm going to look for the zucchini. See if I see any. See some little ones. Lots of blooms. Oh, and here's another one hanging off the side. So that was hanging off the back side. That's a pretty good size zucchini. Now I'm going to try to grabble out some potatoes. If you don't know what that means, it just means I'm going to gently try to dig a few out for us to eat without disturbing the plant so the plant can continue to grow. If you hear a lot of noise in the background, Granny is having some tree work done, so that's the men down the road trimming trees. I think I'm just going to look in the potatoes up here instead of going to the big garden. There's a nice one. There's another one. Nice. Well, not as many in that one as I was hoping for. I'll go on to the next one. Probably enough, maybe. So I think that'll be plenty for us for tonight. That one though looks, now that I'm looking at it, that one's bad, so that one's not going to be any good. I wonder if that's one that we planted that somehow just didn't grow, because now it's got roots. Maybe I'll look for one more. Put this one back. So I found a few more. See some little tiny cucumbers, but none big enough to eat yet. But I am going to pull up some of these onions in here, and we're going to have those. Be good with the butter beans and the cornbread. I just throw my pieces back in the wherever I'm at. It's just like compost on top of the garden, and always in an effort back here with the cucumbers, try to ward off the squash bugs. Some people say they don't like onions. I've not really noticed that to be true, but hope springs eternal, I guess. A big volunteer that I let grow has now showed what it is, and I think it's either a butternut or one of my green and white striped cushaws. But there's several fruits, several squashes on it now. I'll just have to wait till a little bit longer. May just be a butternut, which will be fine. I just don't want it to be some kind of strange squash that most of the time they're edible. They're just not, if it's a weird volunteer that's pollinated, they're just not exactly what you're used to eating, but they're usually okay to eat. I mean, they're always okay to eat. Whether or not they're going to be up to your taste buds is a different story. But I think that's going to be either a butternut or a green and white striped cushaw, which will be perfect. So, pretty good harvest just for a few minutes out here, and the squash and the potatoes, and I'll save the zucchini for something else, but the squash, the potatoes, and the onions will make for a delicious, delicious supper. So exciting to have the first mess of squash and potatoes. My days got away from me. I went out and got my stuff. It's still sitting in the floor. I hadn't even cleaned it up yet, so I've got to get it washed. But first I'm going to put my butter beans on. I've just got them in a pot with water. I'm going to add some kind of seasoning. Might just add like a scoop of bacon grease is probably what I'll do, because that's really easy. And then get them started, put them on pretty high, and then I'm going to wash up my vegetables and get started, I guess, on my potatoes next. I got everything cleaned up. Got my potatoes here scrubbed up a little bit. I'm going to put them in some water, some salted water. I'm wondering if I'm hesitating. I'm wondering if I should cut those in half, some of the bigger ones. That's really just the biggest one. I do know. I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to cook them. So I'm going to put them in here in some water, bring them to a boil, and kind of cook them just until they're, you can see some of them's a little bitty, till they're just barely tender, and then we'll get them out and drain them, and then I'm going to brown them. I'm going to brown them in the oven in some butter. That will be really, really great. And new potatoes, this is a good example. Might be hard for you to see, but you can see their skin's real fragile like. So even just scrubbing them under the water, sometimes like this, their skin will begin to come off. But once they're boiled, I can take a, if there's two different kinds too, is what it is. That kind, the skin's really coming off. And then this one's not so much, but I can take a fork and just scrape a little bit just to get some little pieces up. And then why you want to do that, the new skin like that, you don't have to, but on these, is because then once I roast them in the oven, all that part will get just crispy, and then you'll have the crispy part, and then the inside of the potato is real, you know, creamy and wonderful. So anyway, makes them really extra good. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt. If I can shake without getting too much. My hands are wet, so I don't want to touch them. It may be, I think it'll be all right. It's a little bit much, but I'm going to drain them after that, so I think it'll be fine. And then once I get those going, I've got to do my cornbread. I've got the beans, they're already to a boil. Then I'll start getting my squash ready. I wish I'd have found that one before it got so big, but we'll make do with it. We'll make do. And Corey got some. She went to the produce, to a farmer's market actually today. She had to go over to Blairsville for something, so she went to the farmer's market over there. And she brought us some tomatoes. And so I might cut up one of those too. And then I finally decided for the meat, I'm just going to have some little, just like little pork chops, boneless. Really, it's just pork tenderloin cut into pieces is what it is. And I might even convince Matt to cook those for me outside. He's down the hill working right now, but when he comes back up, I'll see if he's willing to do that. Well, the man of the house is home.
Man of the manor.
Man of the manor. Man of the manor, would you like to help me cook supper? Not what you wanted to hear?
I'd like to eat supper.
All I wanted you to do is cook those, that's
Okay.
all. That's
Yeah.
it. I'll handle the rest.
I'll do it.
Okay?
How would you like them cooked?
Just fried.
Okay, flour.
Whatever you want to do, it's fine. You can wait a little bit because I'm still waiting on my potatoes to get tender. I'm going to have to cut up my squash. And maybe when I start the squash, I'll tell you, and that'll take about the same time.
Okay.
Got to make some cornbread too.
Okay.
My potatoes are just ready to put in the oven. Got them just kind of fork tender. I've got a big one of my big frying pans, got some butter in there, and I'm just going to throw them in there. I am going to try to kind of tear up the little bit of the skin on some of them. Woo, they're hot too. Some of these that are really big, I'm still thinking about if I should cut them in half or not. Maybe I will, one or two of them. I like that one, the skin already looks great. I'm just gonna put it in there. Ooh, that one too, that one come in half by itself. That must have been one I was testing probably in the water to see if it was about done. There's another little bitty one. Let's see, that one's skin's already coming off yet. We grew Kennybecks, and then we had some saved from last year that we planted, so I'm not sure which is which. Get Matt to tell me. And then the ones from last year may have been Kennybecks, but these look like two different kinds of potatoes. Skin's kind of already, ooh, I tore the skin off on that one. Now I've got to decide about the ones if I want to cut them. Looking at those, I think I should slice them in two. And by slicing them, that'll give some more places to brown too. These are going to be so good. So good. May need to add a little bit more butter. I'll have to check on them as they're cooking. It may be enough. Or I might do a little bit of drizzle of olive oil to do that too. Okay. Now that I've got them in there, I'm just going to give them you could use whatever kind of seasonings you want, but I'm just going to do salt, and I probably don't need to do very much salt since I put so much in the water, and some pepper. I think I will do a little bit of olive oil. That's good. Okay, now I've got these ready to go in the oven, but I think I'm going to hold off. I'm going to put them back on the stove so they can stay warm, but I'm going to hold off until I get my cornbread ready to go in the oven. Another way you can do these, if you just wanted to not use the oven, is just fry them a little bit on top of the stove. Granny would do that. She'd fry them a little bit. Sometimes I fry them a little bit and then stick them in the oven, but it's just so much easier when you're already doing your cornbread to just stick them in the oven and let them roast that whole time that the cornbread's cooking. I've got my butter beans still boiling away over there, and I'm going to get my squash ready. A lot of people, when they fry squash, and Granny does, it's how she does it in little rounds, little bitty rounds. Pap always did his long ways, and I just like them like that. I think, for one thing, they're easier to fool with, easier to actually cook. So I'm just going to slice them long ways. I sometimes cut off the edge of the outer part on the outside cuts, just a little bit of it, just to make them cook quicker. That one's kind of pitiful looking. And then I'm just going to put them in this bowl here. So I'll kind of get a very small little part off and then start slicing. Actually, I should do it both at the same time, and then that way it's not hard when you get down to the end. And you could eat that part. That's just personal preference of how I like to do it. You could sure eat that part. It's all edible. It's funny, you'll hear different stories about how people do their squash. There's lots of different variations, but some people do like Granny would do. She would start out with them a little like that, like the little rounds like I was talking about, and then she would, before it was over with, she just kind of scrambles it. It just turns into a scramble, and it's good. It's tasty. It's really tasty. Then there's other people that really painstakingly turn over each round. so that you have like each little, you know, it's still just fried individually. And those are good like that too, but it's really more time consuming. Now I do mine one at a time like that, but it's not as, I don't think it's as time consuming because they're bigger pieces. But it still is time consuming. But I've heard people say their mama would make them make fried squash, and she did it individually like that, and said she would make, you know, what she made for supper. But then if we wanted, because us kids was just crazy about it, if we wanted any more, then we'd have to make the rest of it ourselves. We'd have to stand there and turn, in other words. I guess I'm going to do the twin ones here. And in some people, Matt's Uncle Sam, the way he does his, he does it in a deep fryer. So then you don't have to turn it all. The deep fryer does it for you. I think I'm going to cut this one in half here. Do it this way. Sometimes they'll grow together like that. It's kind of strange. I think I'm going to have enough without having to use that big one. I'll use it for something else, though. I hate that I missed it. It was just hiding from me on the back edge of the hanging over the edge. I'm glad I seen the zucchini because that's where it was hiding too. I was just focusing on the ones inside the bag instead of looking around it. I think that'll be enough for all of us. Maybe I won't cut the big one. And when it comes to actually putting batter or whatever on them, you can put, and I do this sometimes, I'll just take a notion and do it. You can mix up some milk and egg and put them in it and kind of let them soak for a minute or two, and then we roll them in cornmeal. We just use cornmeal. But oftentimes, because I just like that little bit of coating, and once you cut them and you washed them and all that, but even once you cut them, the inside of them is wet. It's already a little wet. So often what I'll do, and it's what I'm going to do tonight, is I just roll them or toss them in cornmeal. I just do it in just cornmeal, and then I'll just put them right into the hot oil like that, and I don't fool with the milk and the egg. But you could do it either way. You could do it either way. And like I said, I like that little, just a little bit of breading on it, same way I like my okra. Just a little bit of cornmeal, but you can still see the squash or the okra, you know, it's like a light coating, I guess you would say. But then a lot of people like the really kind of crunchy, where you can't even really see it. It covers it, like for okra or squash, and that's good too. You just have to do what you like to do. So let me check on my beans, and then I might mix up my cornbread, and maybe I'll tell Matt I'm going to start on the squash, and he can start on the meat. I got the potatoes out. I'm just going to turn them over, and then I'm going to put my cornbread in and do my squash, and we'll be ready to eat. I made a mistake though. I should have realized. I was thinking about butter beans being fresh. Those were dried, of course, that we had from last year. So I had to take them out of the pot I had them in and put them in the Instapot. So hopefully they'll be done by the time the rest of this is done. So I should have thought of that. Since they were dried, it was going to take longer. I had in my mind that I just went out and picked them. Of course, I did not. Picked them last year, not this year. These are going to be so good. He's looking at this, Matt.
Oh, that is pretty.
I've got my cornbread stuff mixed, almost ready. I didn't beat the egg this time. I just threw it in, so I better kind of beat it up a little bit. I've got several recipes about cornbread, but or I meant to say several videos. I just make the same cornbread every time, but it's very simple batter, simple recipe. But I've got several videos you can check out. We eat a lot of cornbread. We really love it. When I was growing up, we always had cornbread or biscuits, one or the other, for every meal. And, well, we didn't have cornbread usually for breakfast, but for supper, I guess I should say. And in those days, I preferred biscuits. I'd rather have a biscuit. But today, I don't know. Cornbread's really, really good. Okay, I've had my pan in the oven getting hot. I'll pop this in the oven and then I'll be ready to do the squash. So I've got avocado oil. You could use whatever oil you want. And I've had it heating in the pan there. And I've just mixed my squash around with some cornmeal. You can see it's a very, very light coating. And I'm just going to start putting it in there. Season with salt and pepper. Add that to your cornmeal. Or you could add it here, whichever way you'd like to do it. I've got another pan back on the back of the stove, so I'll add some to it. Getting there. This is ready to get out. I like to lay it on a tray sometimes like this just so it stays crispy while I'm getting everything else ready. I decided to cut up the big one too, so make sure we have enough for everybody. Potatoes out there too. You want to slice up that tomato, Corey? I've already, let's see, no I didn't wash. Did I wash it? I think I washed it, but you might want to wash it. Yeah, I can't remember. Cut the cornbread parts, Corey. I don't really know where I'm going to put this.
Hey, Woody.
Got a full plate here. Maybe I can put something with that.
on my big one.
Or you want to put something up here with this. Let's put that up here. That'll be easier. Sorry. There we go. You ready for the first mess of squash, Matt? First new potatoes.
Juice here, but I just got all kinds of crap.
It's okay, it's fine, don't worry about it. And then our butter beans from last year. So, looks like a feast to me. You ready to get your plate? Corey's got your plate right behind us.
Ooh, this is gonna be mighty fine.
Potatoes look good, don't they? I didn't get you nothing for the potatoes. Corey, will you get us a spoon or something for the potatoes? Just something about new potatoes. I don't turn down taters any time of the year, but there's something about the new ones. No, that's okay. But I'm gonna get him some of this too. Is he so hungry? So look at all that food going on. I wish I could have it. You gotta grow some teeth. You gotta get some teeth.
I ain't tasted that since last year, and that is so good. That squash.
Oh yeah,
It's fresh. It just got picked.
I don't think I've had any in a while either.
just coming with something good for you to eat.
Mama, where did these beans come from?
Butter beans we grew last year.
Did you have them dried?
Had them dried, yeah.
And then you just reconstituted them?
Yeah, cooked them just like dried beans.
Beans you don't
I
have
started-
to roast, they're just dry and you cook them.
I tried to cook them on top of the stove, but I forgot about them being dried. I was thinking of fresh butter beans, so I ended up putting them in the Instapot, but that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good, huh?
From the sounds at the table, I think everybody's really enjoying the squash, and I'm sure the rest of it too. Crumble my cornbread, you know that. I need a spoon to get some of the juice. Some of the pot liquor. Soak into my cornbread. Tomatoes will be better when they're coming out of our yard, but it's okay for now. We just gotta have my green onion. My salt's over at the table, so I have to wait on my salt. Get some of the potatoes. And the star of the show, I guess, for all of us is the squash. I've already truthfully tried the squash and it's really good.
Yeah.
The little crunch of cornmeal makes it so good. Goes along with that sweet squash.
That'll do.
My onions are falling over. I'm so glad that I thought about it and put the beans, the butter beans, into the Instapot, or they would have never been done. But they're done now. Well, I didn't even get a pork chop. I heard Austin say pork chops are good. I was like, I've not even had one. The rest of it is truthfully enough for me. Potatoes are really good. They're really hot, but they're good. I don't really think I need a pork chop. I'm just going to go enjoy this wonderful meal right here. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me for our first mess of fried squash of the year and our first new potatoes. It is such good eating. We're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia. I only wish you was here to help us eat all this. That would be nice.
Where's the ketchup?